Well, hello there, friends. Today I have something a bit different, yet very special for you. Over the past 3 years, I've shared with you hundreds of cooking techniques and recipes. From the perfect way to cook a steak, to the simple way to debone a chicken, to preparing the perfect rack of lamb, or to demonstrate the best possible way to cook a prime rib. Those techniques are timeless, and their results are constantly delightful. The truth is, some of those recipes and techniques are fundamental. They're so perfectly crafted that they stand the test of times. The method I share with you with those key dishes, they're not just recipes. They are the result of my culinary knowledge that I acquired for the past 54 years as a professional chef. These recipes and techniques are tried and tested to guarantee success. Today, instead of introducing something new, I invite you to revisit these classics with me. If you've watched this video before, I encourage you to dive back in and embrace this technique once again. Because in our quest for culinary perfection, sometimes the best way to move forward is to return to basics that we know work flawlessly. So grab a glass of wine. Let's experience those essential cooking techniques together. Whether you're long-time followers in our channel or a new friend in our kitchen, these fundamentals are the keystone to creating dishes that are not just meals, they are memories. And as the festive season approaches, I understand the joy and sometimes the stress that come with planning the perfect holiday meal. My goal is to take the guesswork out of the holiday cooking and ensuring every dish is not only delicious, but also achievable with confidence. And for a fun twist, I've put together 3 holiday menus, each one of them with to different cooking level and experience and the time you may have to prepare them. The first menu is for the beginner. You just started in the kitchen, you're just having fun. That's perfect menu for you. The second is for those of you that are pretty handy in the kitchen. And the third is for the most experienced home cook that want to go out. You want to go all out for a holiday feast. So let me introduce those 3 menus. The first one, like I said, for the apprentice or the new in the kitchen, I got 3 items you cannot mess up. Okay, they're so simple, you're not going to believe it. The first one that I pick as an appetizer, shrimp sambuca. That shrimp sambuca was my #1 selling appetizer in my restaurant for 21 years. We would never take this off the menu. It is so simple to make. It is so quick to prepare, then you cannot mess it up. And if you don't like shrimp, do it with scallops. The sauce is amazing. And the sambuca is in the background. It's absolutely amazing. It looks beautiful. It's so easy, and you can make it. The second one, some of you are going to be surprised because you said, I'm a beginner. Prime rib. How to cook the perfect prime rib. Friends, all you need to cook a prime rib is one of those guys. It's a thermometer. Okay? It's not a fancy thermometer. It's probably $25. Easy to find. You put it in the center of your roast, right in the center of your roast. We're going to go right in the chuck end, and we're going to go right there, right in the middle of it. And we're going to try to stay in the middle, so I got to be about around here somewhere. So let's look to see. Pick up the same hole. And don't worry about losing the juices. You got a lot of people that said, oh, mamma mia, I'm going to lose the juice. No, you don't. You'll see when I take it out. This hole is going to be dry. No juice is going to come out of there, all right? So we're going to put this in the fridge at 100, and we're going to get to 120. The oven is 250 degrees. Really simple, my friends. Nothing special. Look, put it in the oven. Get your thermometer wire out of there. This is really a simple technique, my friends. Get the thermometer right there. Plug it in. The alarm is set up. It's 250 degrees. The alarm is set up to give it to me. To warn me when it's 117 degrees, so I got a few minutes to set up to make sure I'm comfortable. That's all there is to it, folks. You set the temperature that you want. If you want it rare, you put it at 120 degrees. You put this on the outside of your oven, this inside the prime rib. When the prime rib is 120 degrees, beep, 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 gonna let you know. And you follow the direction, and I promise you, if you have never cooked a prime rib before, you follow the direction exactly. Can't do it with one of those. You can't open up the door of the oven constantly and prick and get the temperature. You got to get one of those. $25. It'll be the best $25 you spend. I promise you, and you must do it because the result is fantastic. It's so fantastic that I want to read you a couple of testimonials. We had one from Scott Anderson. Happy holidays to you and your family, chef. Last year, we invited my sister for Thanksgiving, and she brought a very expensive standing roast for me to cook. I had never attempted this before, and I did not want to fail. I looked at many method videos and happened upon your channel. Your method made the most sense for me and offered many advantages, including the perfectly cooked from center to the outside, really great bark, and the forgiving rest period in the middle. Needless to say, the prime rib turned out perfect. A month later, at Christmas, I repeated the recipe and perfect result again. Since then, I've made many of your recipes and they've all been wonderful. There's thousands of them. I think we have, I don't know how many, but we have thousands of similar. Happy holidays, chef. Shank, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've cooked prime rib every which way you can imagine, even in a salt igloo. I even tried the sous vide. I made this yesterday the way you suggested, and when we took our first bite, we all stopped and looked at each other and said, damn, this is amazing. I'm reading. It just melted in our mouths, and the flavor was incredible. The best part was I put the digital thermometer, poured myself a good scotch, and waited for it to reach 120. I made some lobster tail to go with it, and blah, 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 blah. And that was for the Vito 2824 wrote this comment. And the reason why I really want to emphasize it, friends, is because even if you're big in the kitchen, this is the only way to cook a prime rib. I can't reinvent it. I made some other recipes, and this is the keystone. This is the most important way to do it. So simple and foolproof. All you need is one of those, my friend. And I promise you, it's so simple to make. Okay? So for the apprentice, you're going to go, wow, I'm going to do prime rib. Yes, you can. And then what do we have for dessert? Well, we got to have another easy dessert. So you know what I picked? Another successful item in my restaurant, banana foster. Oh, I love banana foster. And that's such a simple dessert to make. Jackie's going to give you a link in it. Most of the link, we're not going to be able to click it because I don't think we can put that many clickable video on the screen. So below that, we will have all of menu 1, menu 2, menu 3 with all the video for it. Banana foster, you can't mess it up, I promise you. This is a fun dessert to make. And absolutely, the key, though, is to get your banana 2 or 3 days before so they're perfectly ripe. You don't want them to ripe, you don't want them to be green. So it's the only thing you got to do. All right, friends, that was menu number 1. Now, let's go to menu number 2. Number 2 is a little more complicated, but not much more complicated. What did we do for appetizer? We picked a cheese souffle. You're like, oh, mamma mia, I can't make a cheese souffle. Everybody can make a cheese souffle. Now, the traditional cheese souffle is very simple to make, but a little more complicated, a little more temperamental, requires a little more thing, a little more skills. You make a Mornay sauce, which is not that difficult. It's the bechamel with cheese. You fold some egg white in it. You prepare the mold correctly, and it will rise and rise and rise. And when it's perfectly risen out of the mold, you got to serve it right away. If you don't serve it right away, they fall, and they're terrible to eat. Because what happens is the egg white creates those bubbles and rises it. It makes it nice and fluffy. And I'll make a traditional Grand Marnier soufflé to teach you the technique. Eventually, I haven't that time to do it. But this is very simple. So I created this recipe when I was in the restaurant business and said, we got to do something with this soufflé. They're not at the table. They're not ready to eat. They want to wait. Then the soufflé is out of the oven. So I created this recipe where the flour, you'll see the recipe. We tell you exactly how to do it. We put bread cubes in it without the crust. And what happens is when the bread cooks in the custard, it deconstructs itself, and the flour still gives the soufflé the texture that is phenomenal. And the best part of it is, friends, you can make those in advance. You can make them the day before and warm them up. Imagine that. Souffle, you can make the day before, warm them up in a warm oven. You can serve them with a roasted bell pepper coulis. It's fabulous, okay? And again, Jack is going to give you all those links for the recipe. For main course, we're going to do a tenderloin. We're going to do a Chateaubriand. We can do a whole tenderloin. Now, tenderloin, a lot of you say, oh, how do I get this? You buy this thing. It comes in a big Cryovac, this big plastic thing. Where do I start? Well, I made a video on that 2 years ago, showing you exactly how to clean, how to cut, how to tie a tenderloin of beef together. So, check out that video and you'll see it's not that difficult. Nothing, friends, in cooking is that difficult. Especially when you get into it, you realize, I can do this. It's not complicated. Oh, another thing you need for this, friends, is a boning. Oh, no, not this guy. You need a boning knife. Okay, you need a boning knife. That's a very important tool to have. You want to be a good butcher? Piece of cake to do. Just need the right tool to do it. Okay, so tenderloin, we're going to give you links of how to cook how to prepare. We're going to give you another link how to cook it and how to serve a complete dinner at the Chateaubriand. We'll give you that link also with. Fantastic to do, okay? And it's so festive. And what are we doing for dessert? Well, this year I created a dessert that I just love. It's my new favorite. And I don't know if you've seen it. It's like it's a blend between a bread pudding and an apple crisp, where you saute apple in the caramel sauce, and you put them in to make this beautiful, fantastic bread pudding with brioche bread, and we serve it a nice slice, and we put vanilla ice cream and a caramel sauce. Oh, let me tell you, save some room for dessert. It's fantastic. All right, that's menu number 2. Let's go to number 3. Menu number 3. All right, now menu number 3 is a little more complicated. It's not... If you have a little bit of experience in the kitchen, now, if you're a beginner, don't look at menu number 3, okay? You're not ready for that yet. Maybe in a year from now we'll talk, but not right now. Appetizer Coquille Saint-Jacques. Coquille Saint-Jacques is such an old classic and so much celebrated in Europe. During the holiday, Coquille Saint-Jacques, it's a scallop dish that is made with this phenomenal sauce and sauteed mushroom, and it's served in this shell that is actually a scallop shell, a real scallop shell. If you can get them online. If you look at the menu, say, hey, I got time, you can order them and get them delivered to you, or you can serve them in a little dish. It's fantastic, and again, you can prepare them in advance and just bake them at the last minute when you're ready for dinner. So it's not as complicated as it sounds. It's festive, it's elegant, and it's delicious. All right? What are we doing for main course with this? The filet Wellington. Are you going to go, oh, that's a difficult thing to do? It's not that difficult. It's a little bit involved, but it's really not that difficult, I promise you. It's time-consuming. It's very time-consuming. It's going to take you at least 2 hours, 3 hours. If you organize, 3 hours. If you're not organized, a whole day. So think of that twice, friends, before you do it. We have, of course, a video on it that will show you how to do it. And then for dessert, for the last menu, for dessert, we're doing the truffle chocolate cake. See, I wrote notes because I forget. I don't know about you, but I forget things. The chocolate truffle cake, that is an amazing dessert, friends. So simple. We make it in a PVC pipe. You can get them at the hardware store. Go to Home Depot, whatever hardware store there is where you live. You make the crust with nuts. Yeah, and you put a ganache. It's so simple to make. This could have been a number 1. It could have been in any menu. It's not that complicated, friends. All you need is a PVC pipe. It's a pipe coupler. I showed them in the video. You can make them the day before. You can make them 3 days before. And last wonderful, the secret is to make sure they are room temperature before you serve them. So if they're in the fridge or if they're in the freezer, you can keep them in the freezer for 17 years. So, but if they're in the fridge, take them out at least 4 or 5 hours before. They have to be room temperature for you to serve. Cold chocolate doesn't taste like anything. See, all right? So now, we got the 3 menus. Now, no matter what menu you pick, friends, you got to do eggnog. The holidays will never be the same unless you do eggnog. We got this amazing recipe on eggnog, and I show you the perfect texture to create. We can make a meringue in that eggnog. It's so amazing, and it's really traditional recipe. It's fantastic. The reviews are beautiful, and if you also holidays are great with a hot chocolate. we made the perfect hot chocolate. And again, it's all about texture. Remember, the texture is a conductor of flavor. So lots of phenomenal recipe for you to try. The hot chocolate, you got to do it. I mean, I put Baileys in there. Yeah, don't give it to the kids. Somebody wrote a review the other day. They said, stop telling people to feed their kids alcohol. My mom did it all the time. I turned out okay. French toast. Friends, I made this recipe on French toast. I make it all the time. For the holidays, it's nothing like it. The Christmas morning without French toast. I show you how to make the perfect brioche bread and how to avoid making them soggy. You got a little trick in that recipe. Hope you make it. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just remember, the classics, they will stand forever. There's one way to cook a prime rib. There's not 17 ways to do it. I hope you try them all. I hope you have fantastic holidays. I hope you have a phenomenal Christmas. And I'll probably talk to you before the new year comes in. But thanks for watching. And we look forward to cook for you again really soon.